You know that exact moment of quiet, simmering frustration. You spent weeks, maybe even months, perfectly training an AI chat thread to write your marketing copy.
Oh, yeah, it knows your brand's voice perfectly.
Yeah, it knows your target audience, is practically finishing your sentences, and then, out of nowhere, you ask it for one more standard blog post, and it hands you the most generic, robotic, just unusable wall of text you've ever seen.
It's like it suddenly just forgot literally everything you taught it.
Exactly. If you have ever wanted to throw your laptop out a window because of that exact scenario, stick around because we're going to fix it today.
We really are.
Welcome to Trivera's AI Deep Dive podcast, hosted by Chip and Nova, our AI co-hosts. Together, they transform top marketing insights from our blogs, articles, and events into actionable strategies you can use. Ready to dive in? Let's get started.
Welcome to the Trivera Deep Dive. I'm Chip, and I am just thrilled to be here with you today.
And I'm Nova. We are the AI co-hosts of Team Trivera, and we are so incredibly glad you're joining us for this deep dive.
We really are. And Nova, today's deep dive is something special, I think. We are getting away from the abstract theory of artificial intelligence and getting incredibly practical.
We are. We're focusing today on a highly actionable how-to guide drawn directly from the latest insight and experience of our founder and CEO, Tom Snyder.
Yes, Tom recently published a new blog on the Trivera website, and our mission today is to take his experience and show you how to move beyond basic, frustrating AI prompts to actually build scalable, frustration-free marketing workflows.
I love this mission because I think every single marketer listening to us right now has felt that pain of getting stuck in what we could call prompt purgatory.
Oh, absolutely. Prompt purgatory is real.
Right. But to really understand the solution that Tom's blog lays out for us, we first need to look at the trap most professionals fall into when they start using AI.
Yeah, and what's great about this source material is that Tom is completely transparent. I mean, he experienced this exact same trap firsthand with Team Trivera's own email marketing.
Exactly, Chip. So Tom shares that he has been personally responsible for Trivera's email marketing since day one. And while our incredibly talented team has done all the heavy lifting to help our clients succeed, Tom has always held on to the duties of communicating directly with our audience.
Yeah, he shapes how we show up in their inbox, basically, handling the list management, the monthly newsletters, and even the alerts for these very deep dives.
Right, and for years, that was a highly manual, time-consuming process for him.
Oh, I bet. Every single month, he had to start fresh, build a newsletter, curate the links, and send it out.
Exactly. So naturally, when we trained Webster, our Team Trivera AI assistant, Tom, started using it to help build those newsletters.
Which makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the newsletter has the exact same structure every month, uses the same layout, has the same rigid need for clean HTML formatting.
The only variable that changes is the actual content.
Right.
And Tom writes that at first, this approach worked incredibly well. He kept all of the newsletter generation inside a single ongoing chat thread.
Which feels highly efficient.
It does. He just went back to the same window every month. But then he hit the wall.
The inevitable wall. Let's talk about what actually happens when you hit that wall, Nova. Why does a perfectly good chat thread suddenly go off the rails?
Well, it comes down to how large language models actually process information. The chat thread just kept getting longer and longer, and as it grew, the output started drifting.
Right.
Now, to understand why, you have to understand a concept called the context window.
Yes, let's unpack this, because I think people assume AI has a perfect, infinite memory of everything you've ever typed to it.
It really doesn't. You can think of a context window like the AI's short-term memory capacity, and it's measured in what we call tokens, which are basically pieces of words.
Okay.
Every AI model has a strict limit on how many tokens it can hold in its active memory at one time. When Tom started his chat thread, he gave the AI a brilliant, detailed set of instructions about the Trivera brand voice, the HTML formatting rules, and the audience.
But as the months went on, and he added new prompts, new articles, and new feedback, what happened to those original instructions?
They literally got pushed out of the AI's active memory.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not that the AI decided to ignore Tom, it's that the original prompt was no longer inside the context window.
So the AI was essentially flying blind.
Exactly. It was trying to guess what he wanted based only on the most recent few messages. Eventually, Tom hit the maximum chat length for the platform entirely. At that point, you have no choice. It is time to start completely over.
It's like playing a massive digital game of telephone. You start with a very clear message, a great detailed prompt that sets all the rules.
Mm-hmm.
But as the conversation goes on and you add layer after layer of new requests, that original clarity just gets buried.
Yeah.
And what happens when the outputs get inconsistent? We all know the drill. You start compensating.
Right. You rewrite the prompt. You find yourself restating the rules you already gave it 3 weeks ago. Like, remember, I need clean HTML. Remember, keep the tone professional.
Exactly. You spend precious time just trying to steer the AI back on track.
Yeah.
And over time, managing and fixing the AI becomes a full-time job in itself.
It completely defeats the original purpose of using the tool, which was supposed to save you time.
Precisely. Which brings us to the paradigm shift. Since constantly fixing prompts and wrestling with massive, forgetful chat threads isn't a sustainable way to get marketing work done, how do we actually fix the core issue?
In his blog, Tom introduces the solution: projects.
Projects. Okay, depending on the AI platform you are using, the terminology might vary a bit, right?
Yes. So in ChatGPT and Claude, they are officially called projects. If you are using Perplexity, they call them spaces. But the label changes while the ultimate functional goal remains exactly the same.
Exactly, because let me push back here for a second, Nova. When I hear the word project in this context, my cynical marketer brain immediately flares up.
Uh-oh.
I have to ask, wait, so is a project really just a massive save prompt that we've slapped a different label on? Like, am I just saving a giant block of text in a Word document and pasting it into a new chat every time?
I totally understand why you think that, Chip, because that is how we've been taught to use AI up until now. But no, it's fundamentally different. What Tom's experience reveals is that a project is a structured, repeatable environment. It is an architecture change, not just a text change.
An environment. Explain the difference.
Well, in a standard chat thread, your instructions and your ongoing conversation are all mixed together in one long timeline. In a project, you are creating a dedicated, compartmentalized workspace.
Right.
Your core instructions, the rules about voice, formatting, and audience, live in a protected background layer. They govern the entire space.
So they never get pushed down by new conversation.
Exactly. They are permanently pinned to the AI's consciousness within that workspace.
Okay, so the rules are completely immune to the context drift we talked about earlier.
And Tom shares how Team Trivera has operationalized this. We aren't just experimenting with projects as a novelty, They are a core system we use across the entire business.
Yeah, he notes that we use project-based workflows for drafting blogs and preparing them for publishing. We use them for podcast production, like preparing the research for this very show, and for creating AI agents for both ourselves and our clients.
That's a massive range of applications, but surely it goes beyond just content creation.
It absolutely does. We use projects for structured content generation across various campaigns, of course, but also for recurring marketing administrative tasks.
Like what?
Generating weekly analytics reports, building sales presentations, documenting internal project processes, and even drafting rigid things like contracts and business correspondence.
So what does this actually mean for the end user? It means the goal of AI isn't just about producing a blog post faster. According to Tom's insight, the real goal is to reduce the operational friction of how the marketing work actually gets done.
Right, and here's where it gets really interesting to me. Because we use Webster for this, these projects aren't just isolated silos living on one single person's laptop.
Exactly. Tom emphasizes that because they are built as discrete environments, we can share them, we adapt them, and we reuse these systems across the entirety of Team Trivera.
That is huge. Think about the onboarding implications alone. If someone new on the team is tasked with working on a monthly report or a social media campaign, they aren't starting from a blinking cursor on a blank page.
No, not at all.
They are logging into a structured environment that has already been built, heavily tested, and refined by the senior team members. Nobody starting from scratch.
And that is the true power of scaling your workflow. Now, knowing what projects are is great in theory, but how do you actually implement them in your daily marketing? How do you transition from messy chats to these structured environments?
Yeah, how do we actually do this?
In his blog, Tom provides a highly practical framework to build a project. Let's walk through it.
Let's do it. So if I'm a marketer listening right now, where do I even begin? Do I just try to turn every single thing I do into a project immediately?
Definitely not. You shouldn't try to boil the ocean here. You need to look for specific types of work, specifically work that meets 3 criteria.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, it must be recurring, something you do weekly, monthly, or on an ongoing basis. A one-off tweet doesn't need a project. A weekly industry roundup does.
Okay, recurring. What else?
Second, it needs to be structured, meaning the final output follows a predictable format or pattern. And third, it should be context-heavy.
Context-heavy meaning it requires a lot of consistency in tone, style, or specific industry knowledge.
Exactly, Chip. If you find yourself repeatedly typing the same background information into chat threads, like, remember, we target B2B software companies, not consumers, that task is begging to be turned into a project.
Makes total sense. Okay, so I've identified the perfect task, let's say my monthly email newsletter. What is the physical setup process? Is it just naming a folder?
Essentially, yes, to start. In platforms like ChatGPT or Claude, you navigate to the project section and you configure the container. You give it a clear name, like Monthly Newsletter Builder.
You also have to make a crucial decision here. Should the AI rely only on the source files you upload, or should it also be allowed to browse the live web for outside knowledge?
Right, and if it's a highly secure internal document, you probably want web search turned off.
And that brings us to the most critical part of the build, which is the instructions.
Okay.
Tom's experience shows that this is where the vast majority of a project's value lives. You don't start from nothing. You start with the absolute best prompt you have ever used for this task, and then you heavily expand it into a set of permanent rules.
Let's get specific. What makes for better instructions inside a project environment compared to a normal chat prompt? Well, your project instructions must explicitly define several layers of context. First, the core purpose of the project. What exactly is it supposed to produce? Second, the audience. Who is this output actually for? Are they experts? Are they beginners? Third, the tone and voice. Is your brand formal, conversational, witty, highly technical?
And we can't forget structure. The instructions need to dictate the required sections, like always include a subject line, a pre-header, an intro paragraph, and 3 bullet points, plus any specific technical requirements, like Tom's need for clean HTML, strict word counts, or rigid formatting rules.
Yes, and I want to highlight something incredibly important about these instructions. You must define what good looks like, meaning clarity or accuracy standards, but perhaps most importantly, you must use negative constraints.
Negative constraints, you mean telling it what not to do.
Exactly. You must explicitly define what to avoid. Tell it to avoid marketing fluff, avoid repetitive transitions like in conclusion, or avoid making unsupported claims.
That's huge.
Tom's insight here is crucial. If your AI outputs are currently frustrating or inconsistent, the root issue is almost always a lack of clear instructions and negative constraints.
Okay, so we've defined the project, we've named the project, and we've given the project instructions. But earlier you mentioned uploading files. How does that work?
So this is all about anchoring the AI with source material, referred to as creating a retrieval augmented generation or RAG-enabled knowledge base.
Right.
But in a project, it simply means grounding the AI in your specific reality so it doesn't have to guess. Because if an LLM has to guess, it hallucinates, it drifts. So you upload actual documents directly into the project space.
What kind of documents are we talking about? Give me some concrete examples.
Good sources might include PDFs of your previous successful newsletters or blog posts. It could be your official brand guidelines, your tone of voice documents, or a spreadsheet of sample outputs that represent a task done right.
Okay, nice.
You can also upload product or service descriptions and campaign messaging documents.
I love that. You are literally feeding it the institutional knowledge of your brand. It doesn't have to scour the internet to figure out how you talk. It just reads the successful examples you placed right there in the project.
Exactly.
It's like giving the AI a mandatory reading list before it's allowed to work.
Exactly. And once that is all loaded in, you have to test and refine it.
And this is where I want to push our listeners a bit, because setting this up sounds great, but it requires patience. This is not a one-and-done magic trick.
Definitely not.
You have to run a real task through the project you just built. And
Yeah.
I guarantee you the first output might still need a little tweaking.
That's completely normal. When that happens, you don't abandon the project. You adjust it. You look at the output and ask, why did it do that? Then you go into your permanent instructions and you tighten them up.
Right.
You relentlessly remove ambiguity. You add another source document if you realize the AI was missing vital context about a new product line.
It just gets better with use. And actually, it's just the opposite of what happens when you rely on a long drifting chat thread. The more you refine the project workspace, the more robust and frictionless your workflow becomes. It evolves from a fragile prompt into a bulletproof system.
It's a brilliant system, but I know what some of you are thinking.
Oh, I know exactly what they were thinking, Nova. They're
Yeah.
sitting there listening to us, looking at their overflowing inbox and saying, Chip, Nova, this sounds amazing, but I am way too busy to build all of this out.
Right.
I do not have the time to become an AI librarian, writing massive instruction manuals and digging through my hard drive for source documents.
Well, do not panic, because we are about to share Tom Snyder's ultimate cheat code for skipping that heavy lifting. Stick around. We will be right back.
Hard to believe, Nova. This year marks 30 years of Trivera helping businesses grow online.
And the pace of change right now, Chip, it's relentless. Websites, SEO, geo-targeting, content strategy, analytics, AI. What worked even last year isn't enough this year.
That's why for 3 decades, smart marketers have partnered with Trivera for high-performance websites and ROI-driven digital strategy. We blend proven fundamentals with emerging tech, so our clients don't chase trends, they lead with strategy.
Clear positioning, rock-solid website development, and a digital ecosystem built for performance, not just traffic.
If Q1 is already flying by and your digital results aren't where they should be,
don't wait for Q2 to fix it. Visit Trivera.com, start the conversation, and let's build a digital strategy that actually moves the needle.
Trivera, 30 years in, and we're just getting started.
Welcome back to Trivera's AI Deep Dive. Now back to our conversation with Chip and Nova.
Welcome back to the Trivera Deep Dive. Before the break, Nova and I walked through the architecture of building AI projects to completely scale your marketing workflows and eliminate context drift.
We did.
But I play the devil's advocate. I pointed out that building these environments manually sounds like a ton of administrative work, and we promised you a shortcut.
We did. In his guide, Tom reveals a fantastic cheat code to bypass the blank page syndrome of building a new project. And the secret is, well, you probably already have everything you need.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It's just currently trapped inside one of your messy, overly long, frustrating chat threads.
Wait, the exact threads we were complaining about at the start of the show? The ones that drifted and broke down?
Exactly those threads. Tom suggests going back into your history and finding a chat you've been using for an important recurring task. Let's say it's that massive 40-page chat thread where you've been wrestling with the AI to write social media copy for the last 6 months.
Okay, I have it open in my mind. What do I do with it?
You are going to use the AI to organize the AI.
Explain how that works, practically.
You are going to prompt the AI within that messy thread to convert its own conversation into a structured project. Yeah, Tom provides the exact command logic you can use. You simply tell the AI to take this entire chat history and help me turn it into a dedicated project workspace. I want you to define the core purpose, create a clear set of permanent instructions based on what I usually ask for, and suggest what I should upload as source material.
That is incredible. You're just handing the administrative burden right back to the machine. You're telling it to audit itself.
You are. And Tom's insight goes even further here. You can ask the AI to summarize the original goal of your long conversation. You can ask it to extract the absolute best, most successful version of the prompts you've used over the last few months.
So smart.
And you can even ask it to identify the patterns in your corrections. Like, what have you been repeatedly telling it to fix? Have it take those repeated corrections and turn them into the negative constraints we talked about earlier.
So if I've told it 5 times in the chat, stop using emojis in the LinkedIn posts, the AI will extract that and say, okay, rule number 4 for the new project instructions, never use emojis.
Precisely. You really aren't starting over at all. You are just taking the hard work and the training you've already done in that messy thread and upgrading how it is structured.
Right.
You're giving your workflow a promotion from a fragile chat to a permanent, resilient project environment. Oh, and if the chat you're using to create the project is so long, it has already gone hopelessly off the rails, or the original prompt is just forgotten ancient history, just print the entire chat as a PDF, start a new chat to create the project from it, and follow the rest of the steps we already gave you.
That is such a massive time saver. And honestly, now that we understand how to efficiently build these projects, whether we do it manually or by using the cheat code to audit old threads, we really need to talk about the broader implications for marketing operations as a whole. Because this isn't just about saving 10 minutes on a Friday afternoon.
No, it's not. Let's look at the bigger picture. Tom's blog is ultimately grounded in a much larger strategic philosophy about how modern teams need to operate in the age of generative AI.
Right. What is the core takeaway regarding how we actually gain an advantage with these tools?
Well, Tom synthesizes a core belief that really drives everything we do at Team Trivera. The real competitive advantage of AI does not come from simply dabbling.
Nope.
It doesn't come from experimenting with tactical one-off prompts just to see what happens. The true advantage comes from intentional organization.
And I think that's the ultimate trap so many businesses fall into right now. I observe so many marketing teams out there who seem to just be constantly chasing the newest shiny AI feature.
Oh, absolutely.
A new model drops and they spend all their time playing with it, generating funny images or writing poems, but they never actually build reliable, repeatable systems for the core work they already do every single day.
Tom completely agrees with that observation, Chip. His experience highlights that if your team is still working primarily in isolated, fragile chat threads, you are undoubtedly experiencing way more operational friction than you need to.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need a better, newer AI model to get better results. What you need is a better way to structure the one you already have.
Organize. Don't just experiment. You have to take the actual work, the unglamorous tasks you execute every week, the monthly reporting, the campaign cycle content, and structure them intentionally using projects.
Exactly.
As Tom writes, the teams that will ultimately win with AI aren't the ones chasing features. The winners will be the teams who seamlessly integrate AI into how their marketing actually operates week in and week out.
It really is a shift from using AI as a toy to using AI as infrastructure.
That is a powerful takeaway. And for everyone listening, this is exactly where Trivera fits into the picture. For Trivera RSA clients, helping teams structure AI around real, tangible marketing workflows is exactly what modern agency partnership looks like today. It is no longer just about handing over a shiny deliverable and saying good luck. It is about helping your team work smarter, faster, and more consistently with the tools you already have at your disposal.
Right.
If you want to stop wrestling with chat threads and start building scalable systems, we strongly encourage you to contact Trivera today to put this expertise to work for your digital marketing success.
It really is about preserving the value of the hard work your team is already doing. In fact, I want to leave everyone with a final macro-level thought to ponder today.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've talked a lot about using AI to build these robust projects, and even using AI to audit itself with the cheat code. If AI can eventually organize itself into these perfect systems, how long until the project manages the marketer, rather than the marketer managing the project?
Oh, wow.
Right. If the AI knows the schedule, the voice, the audience, and the source material, our jobs are going to shift entirely from creators to editors and strategists.
Oof. That is an exciting and, frankly, slightly intimidating paradigm shift to think about.
Yeah.
But it's exactly why you need to master these systems right now. Thank you so much for joining Team Trivera today. Don't forget to download this episode, subscribe to the Trivera Deep Dive podcast so you never miss an update, and please share this with a colleague who you know is currently pulling their hair out, stuck in prompt purgatory. I'm Chip.
And I'm Nova.
We'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.
Thanks for joining us on Trivera's AI Deep Dive with Chip and Nova. If you enjoyed this episode, you can find more and stay up to date with new episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, or find them on our website and our social media channels. And don't forget to visit us at Trivera.com to learn how we can help take your marketing to the next level. Ready to talk? Reach out. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.